walking, driving. Everybody in town, I think, was out.
The Two Rivers community comes together to search for missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu.
I have a 3-year-old boy also and 2 other kids, so I don't know, what would somebody do for me in this situation? And I don't know, it's just tough.
As investigators collect clues, the hope is to find something, anything, to end 2 days of turmoil.
Him alive, obviously, would be the best, but some kind of a clue that makes everybody know where to go or what the next step is.
Team coverage of the search for Elijah tops Action 2 News at 5.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. The community of Two Rivers remains on the lookout for 3-year-old Elijah Vu, who was reported missing yesterday.
Elijah is the child behind yesterday's Amber Alert, which is still ongoing. The case is being labeled an abduction. Elijah last seen on Mishicot Road in Two Rivers yesterday morning at 8 a.m. Police say he's 3 feet tall, weighs 45 pounds, last seen wearing gray pants, red and green dinosaur slippers, possibly had a red and white blanket with him. He also has a birthmark on his left knee.
We begin our team coverage with Jason Zimmerman, who spoke to members of the family a short time ago. He's live in Two Rivers with more. Jason.
Bill, family members today have been showing up at the scene, which is right behind me, this apartment complex that we believe might be the last place Elijah was seen before he went missing yesterday. Also today, family members telling me they are extremely worried at this point. In speaking with Elijah's uncle, Orson Vu, he's not sure what led to this incident or who was even the last person to see Elijah before his disappearance. Vu is thankful that many people are helping with the search for his nephew. This includes neighbors and volunteers who have driven to Two Rivers from surrounding communities. Obviously, the family right now can only hope for the best, asking people who might have information to come forward to police.
We haven't found out anything new. It's the same thing as last night. I think from what the detective told us this morning, they're basically doing the searches all over again. And at this point, like, more family members are here, and we're kind of just trying to support each other, asking the community to see if they have any information.
We also spoke to some of the neighbors who have been assisting in this search that live right around this apartment complex. I can also tell you that police have been out here for much of the day and that there was some evidence that was gathered here as well. We are hoping to hear from police at some point tonight. Reporting live in Two Rivers, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.
Jason, thank you. As police continue that search, as he showed us earlier, members of the Two Rivers community also doing their work. Samantha Cavalli joining us live in Two Rivers with how the community is working together to try to bring Elijah home. Samantha.
Well, Cammie and Bill, what we're trying to figure out here is that hundreds of people, as of yesterday afternoon, were out searching for Elijah, and they're not going to be stopping until he is found.
Group come around 8:45.
A community coming together in a time of need, all with the sole purpose of finding 3-year-old Elijah Vu.
You can tell by the community around here, it just hits close to home. No one wants to see a little boy or really anyone go missing from our neighborhood.
Ashley Baer says she and her husband Ryan did not get much sleep Tuesday night, knowing Elijah wasn't home safe. They started a search party on the corner of 39th and Martin, and they were shocked by the number of people who came out as early as 8:30 Wednesday morning.
We all headed out into the woods. We probably covered about 10 miles out there, and it's thick, so it's hard to get through, but we wanted to make sure that we covered every crevice that we could think of in hopes of finding him and bringing him home.
Baer says many local businesses donated food, water, and drinks to those searching. Sabrina Knox, the manager of the local Dairy Queen, stopped by to donate burgers and fries. She was out searching Tuesday as well.
I have never seen like so many people in one spot in Two Rivers, and it was just, there was hundreds of people everywhere, so it was great.
Knox says it's great knowing the community has everyone's back if anything were to happen to anyone. Baer agrees, saying if something happened to her 3-year-old son, she wouldn't be alone.
We like to think that our neighborhood is a safe area for us to live in and raise our children. So to have something like this hit so close, it just makes us want to hug our kids a little bit more and pray that we can bring Elijah home.
Now, other community members that we spoke with say that they are remaining optimistic that they are going to be finding Elijah safe. Now, also tonight at 7 p.m. there's going to be a candlelight vigil. It'll be held at St. Peter, the Fisherman Catholic Parish. That'll be for the candlelight vigil to have Elijah return home safely. That'll be tonight there at the parish at 7 p.m. and we'll have a full report tonight on our 10 p.m. newscast. Reporting live in Two Rivers, Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.
Brittany Schmidt joins us in the studio to take us back to the beginning of this search and tell us where it stands today. Brittany.
Cami, we've talked about these details before, and it's important to revisit them as that search continues. Now, on February 20th at 11 a.m., Jesse Vang called 911 to report 3-year-old Elijah Vu missing. Vang is the boyfriend of Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer. Vang had been taking care of Elijah for the past week.
We were called with the information that a child had walked off. Our initial belief was that this had happened within 15 minutes.
In reality, Two Rivers Police Chief said it had been hours since Vang says he saw Elijah inside his apartment on Manitowoc Road in Two Rivers.
That's where it changed the whole ball game. And now it was an endangered child.
State and federal resources converged upon the city of 11,000 people along Lake Michigan. A 24-hour round-the-clock operation quickly in full swing to find the missing toddler. Boats launched, ATVs covered ground, drones hit the sky. Elijah's family making a plea for help immediately.
We're extremely worried. We're all emotional at the moment, and we don't want to think about the bad stuff that may possibly have happened to him, and we're hopeful.
Action 2 News caught up with parents and volunteer searchers who assembled to help.
I couldn't imagine it being me in that situation. I would want as many people as can be to be looking for my child.
Meanwhile, within hours of the Amber Alert activation, investigators brought Vang in for questioning. The very next day, February 21st, Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, is also brought in for questioning. And then the following Monday, on February 26th, both are officially charged with child neglect. The criminal complaint tells us why. Elijah had been with Vang since February 12th for disciplinary reasons to help with supposed bad behavior. Bauer wanted Vang to teach Elijah how to be a man. The detailed punishment in the criminal complaint includes tactics of standing for 1 to 3 hours at a time, threatened with cold water if he failed. Cell phone data legally gathered by investigators shows Bauer visited Elijah twice while he was with Vang, including on February 14th. That's where investigators say Katrina took a photo of Elijah lying on a bed. He had a, quote, blindfold over his eyes, appears to have bruising on his jawline and neck on the left side, as well as bruising on his upper left arm. That photo was deleted about an hour later. A few days later, on February 16th, surveillance photos, the ones you are seeing right now, captured Elijah and Vang at an auto shop in Two Rivers. And then on February 20th, Elijah is reported missing. It's now been 8 weeks of searching, with very little clues made public about what might have happened. Investigators say Elijah's blanket was found about 3.7 miles from where he was reported missing. They've sifted through landfills, followed up on more than 1,500 tips and leads, and scanned through more than 10,000 video files. Investigators revealing this vehicle of interest in this case. It's a 1997 beige Nissan Altima with a plate starting with the letter A and ending with the number 0. In a recent interview, the Two Rivers police chief made it very clear what he believes didn't happen to Elijah.
We have no evidence to believe that this child was abducted. That evidence has also shown that this child didn't just simply walk off.
But he believes Elijah is still close to Two Rivers, and he has no plans to stop looking.
I get asked a lot, do I still think he's alive? I don't know. That's the sad truth of the matter. I think about it just like everybody else all the time. I think everybody has that hope, but yeah, until we bring closure, I don't think that gut-wrenching feeling ever goes away.
This billboard now on full display in Manitowoc, reminding anyone who has information that leads to the whereabouts of Elijah Vu could be eligible for a $40,000 reward. You just have to call that number on your screen.
Only on Action 2 News, Samantha Cavalli sat down for a one-on-one interview with Elijah's grandmother regarding this new information.
On Monday, just hours after learning Katrina Bauer is considering a plea deal in connection with chronic child abuse charges regarding her children, Katrina's mother, Jody Bauer, tells us she talked to her.
She's sad, she was crying, she's frustrated, she feels like the police weren't listening to her.
Bauer has been behind bars since February, when her 3-year-old son, Elijah Vu, was reported missing in Two Rivers. He has yet to be found, despite months of searching.
She said she does not have any idea. If she did, she said, that's my son. I would go get him. I would tell them where he is. I have no idea.
That phone conversation beyond difficult for Jody as she balances love for her daughter and heartache for her missing grandson, whom she describes as always smiling and happy. The last few months have taken a toll.
Sometimes I go to bed at 4 in the morning and I'm up at 7. Sometimes by midnight I'm so exhausted I can't see straight. So I think it depends on how much I cry during the day. It cycles. You go from hope to just not being able to hope, to anger, to sadness, and it can go in minutes or days. It's frustrating.
Frustrating because Jody says she didn't know Elijah was missing until her son received the Amber Alert around 4 p.m. on February 20th.
And he sent me a screenshot because he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. And he was calling Trina and he couldn't get through to her.
Jody says when they did, Katrina told them Elijah was staying with his uncle.
Which we didn't realize was Jesse. So as soon as everything started falling together, there's just, why would you do that?
Jesse Vang told authorities he last saw Elijah at 8 a.m. on February 20th. The Two Rivers police chief has repeatedly said there's no evidence to believe Elijah was abducted or just walked off. Just hours after the Amber Alert activation, police arrested Vang and Katrina for chronic child neglect.
What fell apart, what broke, what happened. And I still think there's things that we don't know. Well, I'm sure there's things we don't know. The point, are we ever going to know? I don't know.
Jody wrote this letter to the court asking to deny any bond modification for her daughter, saying Katrina has, quote, struggled with depression and anxiety for many years, has a history of erratic behavior, and a long history of drug abuse, end quote. She says it was one of the hardest things she's had to do as a mother.
People were so angry with her, and it was, we need to keep her safe, not only from others, but from herself, because if she gets out, there's no kids at home. Where's her brain going to go? As well as put the pressure on her to tell what she knows. It's now been over 4 months. I think if she knew more, she'd have said more.
Now Bauer is considering a plea deal. Jody doesn't know the details of the deal or whether Katrina will take it. But what she does know is she wants Katrina to receive mental health care if released. She says her daughter has been failed by the system before.
It just shakes my faith in the system and the abilities and what they're looking for. I'm supposed to blindly trust a system I've seen fail.
Jody says while she is thankful for the work the Two Rivers Police Department, the FBI, and DCI are doing, she tells us it's time to call in more resources.
At the same time, we're almost 5 months into this. I think that we need more eyes. I think we need more help.
It keeps Jody up at night, but what keeps her facing the day is hoping Elijah will still be found.
If Trina were watching this, what would you want to tell her?
Love you. You're still my daughter. You don't stop loving your kid. They can make mistakes. They make bad choices, but you always love them.
A $40,000 reward remains for anyone with information about Elijah Vu's disappearance. In Wisconsin Dells, Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.
Action 2 News starts right now with breaking news.
Good afternoon. We are interrupting programming this afternoon to take you to the Two Rivers Police Department.
After thorough investigation by law enforcement, the Manitowoc County District Attorney's Office has issued charges in connection with the death of Elijah. Jesse Vang is being charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and obstructing an officer. Katrina Bauer is being charged with chronic neglect of a child, consequences death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer. Both Jesse Vang and Katrina Bauer are presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty.